Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. It's day 2. We're going to be doing issue 5 of the Fanhome release of Build the Star Trek Enterprise D. So this issue is all about doing some frame pieces, but we're also going to be putting some windows in. So we're going to be doing another plate, so I might have to use my Q skills on that to get that over and done with quickly. But when we get to that part, you'll see what I mean. But if you want to get this for yourself, once again, I have put a link in the video description, and there is a QR code on the screen that you can scan, and it will take you to the Fanhome website. You can get this all the way from pack 1. But here's the frame. This is what we were working on in the last pack yesterday. We're going to continue that today. I believe we're completing this today as well. So without further ado, make it so. So here is the magazine. Again, here's a bit of an inventory of what we've got. Look at that skeleton piece that we've got there. Just all 4 stages we've got there. And as you can see, we are... Well, stage 18's got a nice piece as well. That's going to be brilliant. Stage 15's where we're starting, though. We're going to be putting some little support structures onto this section here. And that's all we're going to be doing in that stage. Now, there is a lot in this stage. So let me just open this out. And I've got the support pieces that we need. But let's look at the elephant in the room. Check this structure out here. This is ginormous. Again, put it next to my head. It looks like a hockey mask, doesn't it? But that's going to be the top of the Cobra neck section. Looking good. But just like we did last time, I'm going to be adding these supports here to either side of the frame where we left off. So we have got a thick one and a thin one on both sides. And again, we're following this structure around. So on this side, we're going to have that one going there. And we're going to have this one just going behind it there. They are held in with BM screws. So once again, I put these in with my PH1 screwdriver, and the screws are dipped in oil because that will ensure these are in as tight as I can possibly get them. So that's one of the thick ones, and here's one of the thinner ones, which you can see I'm supporting the supports, not the frame, because I don't want to bend the frame. And that's the supports just in that side. I'm going to do exactly the same thing on the other side. So we're going to have the bigger one in there and the smaller one just behind it in here. So aside from that big piece that you just saw me doing, this is the last screw going in. And that is all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 16, as you can see here, we're going to be adding a piece of frame here. And then we are going to be putting in the battle sections shuttle bays just into these 2 holes here. It does mean parting these wires out the way just so we can get those in. And that will be stage 16. So again, here are all the parts for stage 16. And this is the piece of frame that we've got. Now this is actually going to be going on this side just over here. And it sits slightly different to the last one. It's actually going to sit just like this here. So it is sort of indented from the top there, as you can see. But that is what that's going to look like. Once again, though, no different. We are going to just hog that in with BM screws. Now, looking ahead in the next pack, we've got the other one to put here. And that means the whole frame for the top section of the Enterprise will have been completed. So, last screw going in here. And that is looking really good, isn't it? Again, I'll show you how big that's looking. Excellent. Okay, the last thing to do is just bring over this Cobra neck. And I want to make sure that the wires that are going over the shuttle bays at the moment are bent up at 90 degrees. So I'm just going to use a screwdriver handle to help me do that. And get that flush to that section there. Do the same on the other side. So now we can actually put these shuttle bay doors in with no problems at all with wires getting in the way. And all we've got to do is take the larger one. That's just going to go in here. And you might find it's going to be a little bit easier just to loosen the screws on the reflector here and here. Just so you can actually lift this just a touch to get this underneath. Like that. that should fit flat in there. You can put these screws back in then. You don't have to lift the whole thing out. Just check that your bulbs are still in there, your LEDs. And then to hold that in, I've got a BP screwer here. That can just go in here. And that should fit lovely and flat on there. And there's the first one in place there. Do the same on this side. So once again, going to see how it fits in. And this time I don't have to lift up that one. It's actually fit flush in there. So BP screw again, just in this side. Make sure it's nice and tight in there. And again, just see how that looks. Looking good. And that's all there is to do in that stage. So, swiftly on to stage 17. Look at this. We've got the battle bridge that we've got to put into place here. That's going to be a fun thing. And then we're going to be adding the last bit of frame just to this section here. These frame pieces are absolutely massive. So, I'll put that frame piece just to one side because we are going to be making the battle bridge. Now, as you can see, we've got some magnets at the bottom of this. I think this does double up as a cover for the batteries from what I remember. Could be wrong. There is some Aztecing on there as well. I don't know if you can see that. But we're just going to be taking the battle bridge, putting that on top. And there is some lugs in here to just push this into place. And that should fit flush in there like that. We can then just keep that to one side. Bringing over the Enterprise structure again, the top structure, we've got the last piece to go in, which again is just going to be mirroring what we've just done on there. So this is going to be going in just like that. Once again, held in with BM screws just into these 4 holes. So I'll put them in. And again, this is the last screw just going into this support section here. And that's the top structure frame completed. But as you can see, it's loose here, which means we need to put one more support in here first off. That's going to go into these 4 holes here. So this will be sitting underneath, going in like this. And again, held in with BM screws. And this time it's 4 screws. And that's going to make sure that this inner structure of the saucer here isn't going anywhere. We've still got movement just at the back here though. And that's what this brace is for. That's going to be going just underneath onto this second tier in here. Once again, held in with BM screws. Now this is absolutely solid in here now as the last screw just goes in. All the supports are in place. That is what the completed top section frame looks like. That's all there is to do in that stage. So in the last stage of this pack, we have got another panel to put in with some windows and some reflectors and some lights, and we get to test that panel as well. That's all there is to do in that stage. I will just flick through the rest of the magazine just so you can see some of the stories and some of the content that you do get in all these magazines. There's a fair bit actually, which is why the magazine in itself is a collectible item. Perfect. Now, even though we're not using this large section here, which is going onto the frame that we got at the very first stage of this pack, it is impressive to have a look to see exactly how that is, how big it is. This is a solid piece of metal. You can probably see the Aztecing on there as well. And again, for size, it's pretty big, isn't it? Look at that. I'm trying to get a light glare on it so you can see some of that Aztecing. Okay, the panel that we're going to be putting in the windows looks like this. Now, this is a metal panel. So what I'm going to do, rather than hold this into the crocodile clips, because I haven't put any heat shrink on these, I don't want to damage it. So I'm actually just going to tilt the part up just like that to put the windows in. Now, I'm going to put the windows in exactly like they have in the instructions. So let's position it up like that and click my fingers. And there you go, they're all in place. The good thing about this is that it's used all of those that I cut off the sprues. There's no spare on that. Now, we've got 2 sets of lights here. Looking like this. 1 and 2. But before we put them in, I want to put the reflectors in. So this is the first reflector here. It's marked UI05A1, and that's going to go on this side just here. And the other one is going to go on this side just here. Now, whoops, that was lucky. They're held in with DM screws, which are flange screws, but I only want to put them in the inside ones first. The reason being is because I want to put the lights in, and I want to still be able to get the lights in there. So let's put these flange screws in first. Now remember, this is a metal piece, so I am putting these flange screws in oil. And then before we put the outside ones in, I'm going to be putting in the LEDs. So you should feel a little click as they go in. They shouldn't be able to pull out. Do the same on this side. Push it in at an angle down, and then you shouldn't be able to pull it out. Once they're in, you can get some more flange screws here and tighten those ones up, and that will ensure none of the windows fall out. And just repeat that procedure just onto the other side here. Again, it really doesn't matter if you put the red and black one at the bottom or the top, because they are just connected to the same polarity there. So get these ones in. They're both in. Once again, flange screws to keep that in place. I can then tighten up the middle ones as well. That will ensure that those windows are fitting perfectly flat on the other side of this. And then when you have a look, they're all seated perfectly in place there. Which means we do get to test it. So I'll just bring my tester board over, plug in these 4 ports. I've turned out the lights, you can see it on top camera. That's what it's looking like on the side. That's all there is to do in that stage, and that is all there is to do in that pack. So if I just bring over this skeleton section here, it gives you an idea of where this is actually going to go. It's going to sit on top there like that. Excellent. That was another quick pack. I'll just put that down there. What it means now, though, is we're going to be creating the panels, the lighting. We're going to start putting those panels onto this massive frame. So that's going to be a challenge in itself. I am going to take my time over that so I can show you exactly how we trace the wires from each plate through the frame so that they can actually sit perfectly flat. So that's going to be coming in issue 6. But I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.